Spider's back and he's on a roll. I am hyped up. I think it's the most I've ever been hyped up, and I'm pissed off. Okay? And this session here is going to be my CFL Red Zone role and why the fans and sports fans in general in Canada need to be, how it needs to be exposed. And I have a plan maybe to get it to somebody, and I'm going to ask you to do your part too and talk about my CFL Red Zone role. And you wouldn't believe, you know, by talking about it, if you're CFL fans or football fans in general, if you know about it, talk about it and say, hey, do you know about Spider's CFL Red Zone role? Do you know about Spider's CFL Red Zone? Get it out there. Get it out there. So this session is that the CFL fans and sports fans in general in Canada need to be exposed to my CFL Red Zone role. And they have to be the ones that decide whether my CFL Red Zone role should be adopted. Not Randy and Brosie, okay, who's jealous of it, because the CFL didn't come up with it themselves, and the CFL Rules Committee that's full of ego didn't come up with it themselves. That's why it's never been adopted, and that's why Steve Armitage told me that's exactly why it'll never be adopted. Because of ego, Randy and Brosie's ego, the CFL's Rules Committee ego, because they didn't come up with it. And they're jealous of it as hell, and because it's not their baby. It's Spider's baby, but it's CFL fans' baby, and all sports fans in general, Canada's baby, okay? And Spider's CFL Red Zone rules baby, and your baby, because it belongs to you. We got to get the word out, and you got to get the word out about Spider's CFL Red Zone rule, because the fans have to decide. And my dream somehow, and maybe you can help. Maybe you can start something. Maybe you can get on CFL sites and start something and say, we have to get Spider's CFL Red Zone rule adopted in the CFL. It's a natural, it's tailor-made for a CFL three-down game. And because it's repetitive, it's so boring, it's so magnified in the red zone. Another boring two-down football stop in the red zone. It's happening multiple times, every CFL game this year. And every game last year, 2021 was brutal in the playoffs and the Grey Cup. And that's why Rob Ransom said, Spider, the CFL couldn't write a better script to prove why your CFL Red Zone rule should be made part of a CFL three-down game. But what you CFL fans and sports fans have to do out there, you got to talk up Spider's CFL Red Zone rule, and it got to get to a point that we got to get something up in social media to say at a CFL game, every CFL game you post it up. When there's another two-down football stop, boring, predictable, non-eventful, okay, distasteful, two-down football stop in the red zone that results because in less than the 1 yard line, okay, they don't go for it in third down. They kick like on the 2, the 3, the 4, the 5, okay. They kick another boring, distasteful, non-eventful, easy chip shot field goal in the red zone or slightly outside, depending on where the second down stop was made in the red zone. And that's what, I mean, CFL fans boo when that repetitively happens over and over, which it does, like, unbelievably so in the CFL. And that's why my CFL Red Zone rules there every single CFL three-down game, just staring the CFL right in the eye, just waiting to be adopted. And when this happens, and because it happens repetitively, CFL fans, rather than booing for wanting their CFL team to go for it in third down, score a touchdown in the red zone, start booing, okay? And then right after the boo, as loud as you can, louder than the boos. We want Spider's CFL Red Zone rule. 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 That's what you have to do. You imagine if you had 20, 30,000 people doing that, you think my CFL Red Zone will be adopted? You're damn right. So we need somebody innovative out there to help me with this. We need to get this on social media. Every CFL three-down, every CFL game, it's got to be posted. And if Randy Brosie tries to take it down, my banner, he tried to take down my banner. That's what he tried to take down. Okay, my CFL Red Zone rule banner. That's what it says. Exactly what it says. And he wouldn't allow it to go up in CFL Twitter news, so he stopped it. But find a platform that you can get it up there, tweet it, get it out on CFL sites. Tweet sites, Twitter sites, whatever, of CFL teams, and get it out there and say, everybody at a CFL game, okay, in the red zone, when there's another boring, predictable, non-eventful, two-down football stop in the red zone because it equals the same. Less than the 1 yard line, they don't go for it in the CFL. They kick another boring, predictable, non-eventful, easy chip shot field goal. And that's what a 2 and out in the CFL in the red zone rule. Okay, a second down stop and less than the 1 yard line because they don't go for it. Less than the 1 yard line on third down in the red zone in the CFL. If it's on the 2, the 3 or 4 or 5, like, or up to the 20, they kick another boring, predictable, non-eventful, easy chip shot field goal. So CFL fans, you got to be loud and in big numbers. You got to chant, "We want Spider CFL Red Zone rule" when this happens over and over and over every CFL game. Okay, so someone has to take the initiative to do this. Multiple people, hundreds of CFL fans. Let's do it. Let's get it out there. You post it, put it out there, get people to chant. Okay, we want Spider CFL Red Zone rule in the red zone. That's what we have to do. And wouldn't that be unbelievable? Because it would make a fool of Randy Ambrosie. His ego, he's an egomaniac, and the CFL Rules Committee, there's egotistical on there on that Rules Committee. Dave Dickinson's one of them. He's unbelievably egotistical and very jealous of my role, like others on there. And it would make a complete fool of their hash mark, stupid hash mark, narrow hash mark rule that is making our CFL game way worse. It's causing way more 2 and outs like you wouldn't believe, and little short passes under 10 yards for more 2 and outs. Listen, we need my Spider CFL Red Zone rule because they'd be throwing the ball for big passes, playing real exciting CFL 3-down football, throwing the ball vertically downfield with Spider CFL Red Zone rule. You know why? Because they'll want to anxiously get in the CFL Red Zone rule to play exciting 3-down football with Spider CFL Red Zone rule. Because if they're stopped, because it's an enforcement rule, so if they're stopped in third down, if it's needed in the red zone to score a touchdown, they won't be kicking unless they're on the 1 yard line. Okay, they don't go for it on third down. They won't be kicking another easy, boring, predictable, non-eventful, distasteful, easy chip shot field goal in the red zone, or slightly outside the red zone, depending on where the second down stop was made. They'll be playing exciting CFL 3-down football to score to score a touchdown in the red zone, an exciting touchdown and third down in the red zone. And wouldn't that be a lot more exciting? Just be full of drama. You imagine the excitement. And not only offensively would be super exciting and full of drama, but defensively as well, because with Spider CFL Red Zone rule being an enforcement rule, what happens is that with the rule, okay, which is complements the rule and it's compatible and it's part of the rule, my Spider CFL Red Zone rule in a nutshell, if a CFL team on third down, if needed, playing exciting 3-down football with Spider CFL Red Zone rule, in the red zone is stopped on third down, and they don't score a touchdown, but they maintain possession of the ball, and they're not forced outside the red zone, they get Spider CFL Red Zone kick. Okay, for the 35, you add 7 for the 42, so it's a challenging kick. There's no guarantee. Okay, all right? It's no boring, predictable, non-eventful, little easy chip shot field goal from another boring, repetitive 2-down football stop in the red zone in the CFL, but in a challenging kick, right? It's Spider's CFL Red Zone kick from the 42. And you imagine another big part defensively in the red zone with my Spider's CFL Red Zone rule, so that's why it's equally as exciting defensively as it is offensively with my CFL Red Zone rule in the red zone in the CFL, is because if they were to push a CFL team on third down, playing with my CFL Red Zone rule, which is an enforcement rule, outside the red zone on third down, okay, they don't get Spider's CFL Red Zone kick. From the 35, you add the 7 to 42. You imagine. So that's how big defensively as well as offensively my CFL Red Zone rule would be for our CFL 3-down game of football in the red zone. It would be phenomenal. It would be the biggest rule ever adopted by the CFL, the most innovative, the most exciting, and full of drama. It'd be so dramatic and super exciting and entertaining. Offensively and defensively equally, and create a invigorating plot defensively. It would be, and offensively, it would be, what a battle it would be. And it would make our game way, way better. Okay, and what it does, right now, I'll give you the numbers. The CFL in 2021 actually only had an average touchdown score in the red zone by 9 CFL teams during a regular season game of 51. Imagine, just a little over 50. It was insane. But years before that, it was around 54.8, 54.7. So based on that, say 54.8 percentage, I calculated on third down if needed, playing exciting 3-down football with SPYDER S CFL red zone rule, enforcement rule. Okay, at that percentage, if they were to score at 54.8%, if third down's needed with my SPYDER S CFL red zone rule, score a touchdown, you know what that would equal? 18% more guaranteed touchdowns in the CFL, equaling 50 more touchdowns scored in the CFL amongst 9 CFL teams. Can you imagine what that would do for a CFL 3-down game? It'd be unbelievable. It'd be unbelievable. And yes, you would see a lot less 2-and-outs because near the red zone, they'd be going for it in third down. They get in the red zone to play exciting CFL 3-down football if the third down's needed to score a touchdown, which SPYDER S CFL red zone rule. And between the red zones, they'd be throwing the ball vertically down the field, a lot more bigger plays because they'll want to get in the red zone to play exciting 3-down football using SPYDER S CFL red zone rule. And another thing, which, see, the thing is, the problem with now in the CFL, like the Calgary Stampeders, they're playing basically NFL 2-down football. It's unbelievable. Dave Dickinson, on a CFL field, imagine, that's 58% larger. I'm sorry, 48% larger than an NFL field. Do the math. Do the math like I explained it before. 53 wide versus 65, 110 between the goal lines versus 100, 20 versus 10 in the end zones. Calculate it, it's 48% larger, almost 50% larger. So you imagine with my SPYDER super exciting CFL red zone rule, playing real exciting CFL 3-down football. But you need to get rid of the Canadian ratio to allow the best players to play exciting CFL 3-down football with my SPYDER S CFL red zone rule. Because what a combo, what a combination. And get rid of the 1-year contracts too. They got to go. Okay, and the marketing has to improve. Imagine what the marketing would be, my SPYDER S CFL red zone rule. Can you imagine a CFL video game with SPYDER S CFL red zone rule and the graphics? And by the way, like with, I don't know if you can see that monitor, but the 20-yard line's outlined in the red line. I mean, the white line's outlined in red, and the 20 is outlined in red. And you imagine they could put graphics down, SPYDER S CFL red zone rule. Imagine the excitement, and they could sponsor tags, the money they could make, and the betting would be the best. The betting would be unbelievable, because can you imagine the bets you could have? You could have whether or not if the third down's needed, they'd score a touchdown, whether or not they'd be stopped and they would prevent a touchdown, which is a big defensive play, and even bigger, whether or not they'd force them outside in third down to prevent SPYDER S CFL red zone rule kick. Okay? Okay? Now, if they turn over the ball on third down in the red zone and still inside the red zone, it's the same rules, same CFL rules. Like there was a thing in the game last night where Alouettes were down to 4 seconds and they kicked a field goal, and they were like on the 5-yard line or inside the 10. And they didn't have enough time, they didn't think, or maybe just inside the 10, didn't have enough time, or scared if they tried to get through a touchdown pass, the time would run out. They wouldn't have enough time. Well, my rule still applies in every case. The rule's there now. My SPYDER S CFL red zone could be used now every time they get in the red zone, but the only time they use it. Okay, play 3-down football on the 1-yard line and third down in the red zone to see if it's the only time. But the thing is, my rule would apply every time, and they wouldn't be able to use it in that case. They kick a field goal on the third down. In that case, I have a provision. Oh, that's right. I opt a provision, okay, in my rule, okay, which I added to my rule, that down the last 10 seconds of the last half, the second and the last second half, last 10 seconds of the game in the first and second half would be optional. But now, after a Montreal game last night in Calgary, I would say, and I said this before, it's got to be implemented. That's where it'd be implemented, there. Because that way, okay, they could come up short and wouldn't get SPYDER S CFL red zone rule kick, right? The only way that could be changed is that if they went for it and the time ran out and they still maintained possession of the ball and the time went out, they'd still get the kick. but I don't know, probably that wouldn't work because the time would elapse, right? So I think the way that the last 10 seconds that in the third down, that they could actually opt to kick, like the last 4 seconds when Alouettes in the first half, they feel they didn't have enough time, so they kicked the third down, the field goal inside the 10. So that's why I put that provision, the optical provision part, in the last 10 seconds of the first half and the last 10 seconds of the second half, the last 10 seconds of the game. Okay, and to implement that as well. So so it's 100% foolproof, and that's how I come up with that, the optical provision part. And I think it needs to be implemented because that's where it's needed. And in some cases it wouldn't be needed, but in that case, so that makes it 100% foolproof. So that's it in a nutshell, my SPYDER CFL red zone rule. So you think it's better than Randy and Ambrosio's political, stupid, ridiculous, little, you know, like gimmicky little tweak, stupid little hash mark rule that does nothing but cause more 2 and outs. You see what it's doing. And the field goals that are missed, okay, from the 30 and 25 and 20, they've missed them from the 20 because of the narrow hash mark rule. It's unbelievable. And they blame it on the microchips. No, it's the narrow hash mark rule. And the little, tiny little short passes more and more because of the narrow hash marks. And then you can be picked off easy too. It's way more picked off when they try to go sideways with the narrow hash mark and hash marks, and they get picked off. Like for touchdown, like it happened last year in Toronto in the Eastern Final in Montreal, way down in the 5-yard line. Kelly threw. They got to get rid of this narrow hash mark. Get rid of it. Bring in my CFL red zone rule. There's no comparison here. On my SPYDER CFL red zone rule Facebook page, there's 10 super features and benefits and key selling features. Why my CFL red zone rule should be adopted by the CFL. There's so many features that's out of this world. Just in the data, like Steve Armitage, Steve Armitage's a legend. 27 Grey Cups he's done the Olympics, sports icon in Canada. He endorsed my CFL red zone rule. There's a picture of him and I in my brochure, and gave it a stamp approval. And he said the only way it can't possibly. He said the only way it would not be adopted is because of ego, because the CFL didn't come up with it themselves, because they're jealous of it, and because it's not their baby, and that's the only way. And can you imagine? That's just brutal. You think it'd be the opposite, he said, because a CFL fan did come up with it. I worked over 5 years in my CFL red zone rule, over 5 years on it, okay? But yeah, there's 10 super features and benefits of my CFL red zone rule. They're huge, huge features. He said, I mean, Steve Armitage told me just in the data alone, just in my numbers in the data, if you go on my CFL red zone Facebook page, my last presentation that I made to the CFL and Randy Ambrosi is on there, my very last one, and you can go over all the 10 super features and benefits of my CFL red zone rule. They're powerful. They're compelling. They would blow Randy Ambrosi's hash mark rule out of the water. There's no comparison at all. No comparison. And this is why it's very important that we have to. It's just like two Elks fans when Keith Urban played at halftime at the stand in Calgary. Okay, when the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, after 29 years, won the Grey Cup. Okay, and beat the Hamilton Tiger Cats. I met, at a pub before the game. I gave them brochures, my CFL red zone rule. They came and found me. This is SPYDER. Well, how are you going? They're blown away by it. How are you going to get it out there? Younger generation, Edmonton Eskimos fans. They were fantastic. It's just SPYDER, but how are you going to get it out? Because it's got to be known. It can't be silenced. How are you going to get it out to all the CFL fans and all the sports fans in Canada so they know about your CFL red zone rule? Because that's who has to know about it, and that's so true, because he says those people, all the sports fans and all the CFL fans and all the sports fans in general in Canada, all the youth sports fans, they have to, they're all going to want my CFL red zone rule, just like the two young generation Edmonton Elks or Edmonton Eskimos, they were fans, wanted my CFL red zone rule. It was so super excited about it and so blown away by it. And like over the 500 plus I surveyed are all blown away by it. And hundreds of thousands of people, if they find out my CFL Red Zone rule, will be all blown away by it and want to adopt it by the CFL. Guaranteed. And that's why we got to get at a CFL game live. We got to get, and that's why it's got to be put up on social media every time there's a CFL game in the red zone. If there's another repetitive, boring 2 and out, okay, predictable 2 and out in the red zone, resulting in another boring, non-eventful, easy, distasteful, easy chip shot field goal in the red zone or slightly outside the red zone, depending on where the second down stop was made, we need thousands of fans to chant loud in the red zone. We want SPYDER CFL Red Zone Roll. 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 That's what has to happen. And loud. Do you imagine if that happens, my CFL Red Zone Rule will be adopted. Randy Ambrosi, he has to go. What he's done to my CFL Red Zone Rule because of jealousy, it's staring him right in the eye. You imagine what he must do every time there's, and it's every CFL game, and every CFL game this year, and it'll be every game this year, you'll see SPYDER CFL Red Zone Rule, they're staring the CFL right in the eye, and Randy Ambrosi is silencing it and trying to bury it because it puts this ridiculous stone head hash pipe rule out, blows it out of the water, just wipes it out, eats it for lunch, That's why he doesn't want it exposed, because it'll make him look ridiculous, and his hash mark rule gimmicky little ridiculous that's causing more 2 and outs every game. More and more 2 and outs. No big plays, no big touch-up play, you big bullshitter, Randy Ambrosi. That's why my CFL Red Zone Rule will blow your bullshit hash pipe, hash mark rule out of the water. Randy Ambrosi, it will destroy it. And that's why my CFL Red Zone Rule is needed. And your hash pipe, hash mark rule has got to be blown out and thrown out. Just like you, Ambrosi. And your Canadian ratio. Handcuffing, dictating Canadian ratio. Got to be thrown out. We need SPYDER CFL Red Zone Rule. We need to get rid of the one-year contracts. We need to get rid of the Canadian ratio. We need to bring in SPYDER CFL Red Zone Rule. Will be the biggest, the most innovative rule ever adopted by the CFL. The most exciting, the most entertaining, the most super exciting rule that will be full of drama, tenfold, offensively and defensively in the red zone. Will blow your hash mark or hash pipe, hash mark rule out of the water, Ambrosi. It'll blow it out of the water. Make a complete fool of it. You know, which is a disaster. My CFL Red Zone Rule is a natural, tailor-made for CFL 3-down football. And by the way, 4 downs in the CFL is too many downs. It's too easy in the red zone, that little tiny end zone. Imagine 53 wide, 10 yards wide. A kid can underhand the ball. You can't even throw it. You have to underhand it. It's a joke. If you can't get touchdown, 4 downs is ridiculous. But this is why my CFL Red Zone Rule is so powerful, and why it would put a signature on a third down on CFL 3-down football and give it a meaning and a purpose. You know why? Because 2 downs in the red zone, unless you're on the 1 yard line in the red zone in the CFL, and on 3rd down, the CFL teams don't go for it. They kick another easy, boring, easy, non-eventful, distasteful, easy chip shot field goal that will become completely gone. Both. The 2 down, ridiculous 2 down, repetitive 2 down stops in the red zone, and like which magnifies the boring, predictable, non-eventful, easy chip shot field goals in the red zone in the CFL. Can you imagine? Or slightly outside, depending on when the 2nd down stop was made. Completely gone, eliminated my SPYDER CFL Red Zone Rule. And that's the thing. 2 downs in our game in the red zone, playing 2-down football to score a touchdown, unless they're on the 1 yard in the red zone, doesn't cut it. 4 downs is too many with that little tiny Mickey, little tiny end zone, and 53 yards in the NFL, 10 yards deep. It's a joke. But 3 downs is the ideal number of downs that in the game of professional football that should be used, and only used in the red zone to score a touchdown. And that's when my CFL Red Zone Rule, SPYDER CFL Red Zone Rule shines, because That's what it is. It's the ideal number of downs, because if the third down's needed, with my SPYDER CFL red zone rule, CFL teams, all CFL teams, every single CFL game in the playoffs and the Grey Cup will be playing exciting CFL 3-down football. They score a touchdown if the third down's needed, eliminating the repetitive, boring 2-down football stops that the CFL fans can't stand, and eliminating, you imagine, completely all the boring, non-eventful, easy chip-chop field goals, both completely eliminated and gone. That's how big my CFL red zone rule is, Randy and Brosy. What does your hash pipe rule do? Your hash pipe rule do? You know, like, come on, Randy and Brosy, you're blowing smoke over people's eyes, like you're trying to make people like they can't see what your stupid hash mark rule does. Nothing but increase 2 and outs and increase more little short passes under 10 yards for more 2 and outs. There's no big plays, and there's no, said it would eliminate 2 and 8s. It increases 2 and outs. There's no big plays down the field. You know, little sideways, little passes. Imagine 2/3 of the passes on 10 yards in the CFL by amongst 9 CFL teams because your stupid hash mark, gimmicky little hash mark rule. My CFL red zone rule will blow your stupid, ridiculous, gimmicky, the smoke gun. That's what you try to do. Smoke, stone, yeah, that's what it is. Hash pipe, hash mark rule, out of the narrow hash mark rule, out of the water, Randy, and blows it. Blow it out of the water. Yes, I'm hyped up. You're damn right I'm hyped up. My CFL red zone will blow your hash pipe rule out and out of the water, Randy and Brosy. And it's needed in our CFL 3-down game because it's a natural and it's tailor-made for a CFL 3-down game. And that's what has to happen, CFL fans and sports fans in general. You need to yell loud in the red zone on a CFL game loud. Every time you witness another boring, repetitive 2-down football stop, resulting in another easy chip shot field goal, chanting loud in the red zone. We want SPYDER CFL red zone rule. We want SPYDER CFL red zone rule. We want SPYDER CFL red zone rule. We want SPYDER CFL